Paula Dean Craft and my fellow real women of Philadelphia. I'm Stephanie Shepherd-Syphax, and today I'll be making kicked up cornbread casserole with shrimp and andouille sausage. The great thing about this meal is it seems very complex, but it's actually quite easy, and it's always a guest pleaser. We have a few key role players here: fresh cooked shrimp with Cajun seasoning, Smokey andouille sausage. We have our chopped portobello mushroom, onion, spring onion, vibrant red bell pepper, lemon zest, polenta, or also known as corn grits. But the absolute star of the show here, folks, Philadelphia cream cheese. This is what brings every ingredient on this table together and is sure to please your guests. Follow me. Ladies, our first step of the meal is to cook your bacon in cast iron skillet. I chose a cast iron skillet for my casserole because a great seasoned cast iron skillet not only adds flavor to casseroles, but it also is easy cleanup. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, your regular casserole dish will be just as great when making this. So you just place about 4 pieces of bacon in here. We'll later use this bacon to top off our dish. And we'll also use a little bit of the bacon grease, which is a family trick, in my grits. While your bacon is cooking, heat a skillet with a little bit of oil. And the next step is to put your Vidalia onion in, your andouille sausage. And since the sausage is already smoked, we're only going to cook this for about 5 minutes. Just until it's browned and the onions caramelize while the bacon is finishing up. It looks about finished, so I'm going to flip it over one last time. It's nice and brown. It's going to be nice and crispy. All right. Our bacon is nice and crispy. So we're just going to take it out and drain it on the paper towel and set it aside. We'll use that later. But we definitely have to keep our grease. So get a nice oven mitt. Go over the sink just to be a little safe. Might be a little hot. And I just pour my grease in a dish, something that won't burn. We'll later use this grease, like I said, in our corn grits. I'll also not necessarily clean this pan out. I'll wipe it out with paper towel. The bacon is a nice seasoning to the pan, so it just adds extra flavor to your meal. All right, on to the next step. In the meantime, I have brought half a cup of water, half a cup of whipping cream, 2 cups of chicken stock to a boil. This is what I'll be using to make our grits. To that, I'm adding 3/4 cups of frozen corn, throw that in there. 1 cup of corn grits, polenta. Just stir as you whisk so it doesn't stick. Stir it in slowly. Definitely helps. This is a teaspoon of garlic powder and a pinch of red pepper. And you're just going to reduce heat and let it boil. In the meantime, check out our andouille sausage and Vidalia onion. Isn't it lovely? Now, back to our star. I will be adding the hot mixture to the cream cheese. The cream cheese is already set out and, gotten quite soft, but this just helps it. Get all that in there. All that is flavor. The andouille sausage is full of seasoning, so you really don't have to season this a whole lot to get that spiciness to it, but we are going to put some Cajun seasoning and garlic powder in. This is our Cajun seasoning and garlic powder. You just toss it in there. Now, we're going to use our fork to work this in. You see those seasonings getting in there and that oil and the sausage? Oh, if only you could smell it. It smells really good. Look at our andouille and sausage mixture. It's gotten really creamy. And it also has this wonderful color to it, which is from the Cajun seasoning and the andouille sausage. At this point, I'm going to add the green onion. Just pour it in there. Incorporate it really well. This is what's going to be our topping for our casserole. Ooh, look at it. It looks so good. Can't wait to try it. So I'm going to leave this over here for now. Let it marinate. Let the flavors work in there. When the grits get to this point, look how creamy they are. When they get this creamy, this is when you add your cup of sharp cheddar. My family prefers sharp cheddar, but if you don't, you're more than welcome to use your cheese of choice. They really all work really well. You just mix that up in there, you know, kind of fold it in. It gives it a great color too. We're almost ready to build our casserole. I've poured our creamy corn grits into our casserole dish, which is our cast iron. And the great thing about the Philadelphia cream cheese topping is you really don't have to be all that precise. It has such a great melting quality that if you just dollop it here and there, as you put it in the oven, it'll just evenly spread out. That's just why I love Philadelphia cream so much. It's just such a great melting property. The reason why I chose this dish is, you know, grits are slowly becoming popular again. I think about growing up in Detroit, my grandmother making breakfast for me, and she just made the simple instant grits with a little bit of American cheese, and they just were awesome. So I'm just so proud to say that I've built upon her recipe and have made it my own. This is really one of my favorite recipes to make because it's just so much love into this recipe. It's just a family background and history. It's really food for the soul. I really love seeing my friends when they eat it. It's just their faces really light up, and I hope yours will too. After 20 minutes, it's time for the big reveal. Hear that bubbliness? Look at that cheese. Look at that bubbly texture, that crust. It looks amazing. But guess what, ladies? We have to let it cool, and we have an even bigger surprise. Can't wait! Surprise! Ladies, I bet you're wondering why I'm wearing this new outfit. It's because it's day 2. The great thing about this casserole is you can make it ahead of time, put some foil on it, flip it and slide it onto a platter, and reheat it the next day. It's no excuse not to have a great meal for your families, and thanks to Philadelphia cream cheese, you can do that. You can make something this awesome and have just enough time. So it's time to get into our sauce and put this all together. Now it's time to put our Philadelphia smoky shrimp sauce together. Start off with a little bit of bacon grease to coat the pan. Bacon grease just adds flavor, and any opportunity I get to add flavor to my meal, I definitely take advantage of. Next, I put my bell pepper and 1 clove of garlic in. A nice little toss. And then my baby bella mushrooms. I love mushrooms, so I use about a package of them. I'm going to let this go for about 3 to 4 minutes, but it's really based on your preference. The good thing about this recipe is you can make it your own, and that's always a plus. If you like it a little softer, go ahead a little longer. So it's been about 4 minutes, and the veggies are nice and sauteed, but they still have a nice texture and crunch to them. So the next step is to add my chicken stock and heavy whipping cream. When you pour that in, it's kind of cool, so you need to turn your heat up a bit. Let that come to a boil. Turn on. So our mixture has come to a boil, and I have half a cup of our reserved Philly andouille topping. Just add that in. It's just a plus to be able to use another component from the same recipe to make the sauce. I just think it's awesome. You slowly work that in. It'll melt down and make such a creamy texture. You don't really have to worry about it too much because it's definitely going to melt down. At this point is when you add your Cajun seasoning, garlic powder, and pinch of red pepper. It just gives it a nice, smoky, spicy Cajun flavor, which I love, and I'm sure you will too. Next, our lemon zest and lemon juice. Lemon always complements any seafood, especially shrimp, very well. Oh, this is looking so great. Then our Parmesan cheese. Mix that in. Get a close-up of this texture. Look how creamy this is. Look at those vegetables. I can't wait to try this. I know it's going to be good, as good as the last time. I suggest just salt and pepper to your taste. Like I said, this recipe is all about you and your family. You may not like salt. You may not be able to have salt. If you can't, leave it out. It tastes just as great. So this sauce is almost done. At this point, we're going to add our pre-cooked shrimp. I pre-cooked it by boiling it. It's a tip from my grandma Bobby. It really keeps the shrimp nice and tender. It allows you to make it ahead of time and maybe snack on it a little bit if you're a shrimp lover like me. And it also gives it a great, perfect texture at the end. So you don't really have to leave it in too long. Just brush it in there. Give it a nice stir. Turn your fire down. It's beginning to thicken up. Made possible by the Philadelphia cream cheese, it makes the perfect smoky andouille shrimp sauce for our cornbread casserole. Take a look at our cornbread casserole. Look at that cheese and that crust thanks to our cast iron skillet. It just looks so good. I can't wait to top it off with this great sauce. The greater thing about this sauce, ladies, is it tastes great on top of pasta. It tastes great on top of rice, mashed potatoes. Really, any of your favorite starches, it really tastes great on top of. And it's just another fact about how versatile the Philadelphia cream cheese is and how much it can add to your daily life. I like to top it off with some of that bacon that we made earlier. Gives it a little crunch, some more smokiness. I love bacon. Some green onion that also gives it a nice freshness. It really complements all the flavors. Make it look pretty. Whatever garnish you prefer. I prefer Italian chopped parsley. And here we go. This is our smoky cornbread casserole with shrimp and andouille sausage. It's time for our first bite. I like to get a little bit of everything because all of these ingredients, they just go so well together, especially with the cream cheese. This is it right here. It's great to come home after a long day of work and make a great meal like this, especially in a short amount of time, and that's thanks to Philadelphia cream cheese. My family absolutely loves this meal, and I hope yours will too. Once again, I'm Stephanie Shepherd Syphax. Thanks for allowing me into your kitchens and into your homes, and I hope to see you soon.